Hi, this is Trisha from Lemon Paper Lab. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a quatrefoil pattern in Photoshop. First off, we are going to create a new document. So we'll go Create New. I'm going to use the dimensions of 400 pixels by 400 pixels. I'm leaving the resolution at 300. Our color mode is going to be RGB color. Our background contents, we are going to switch to transparent. And then we'll go ahead and click on Create. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the canvas here using a Command+ key. And then to start off with, we are going to create a circle using the Ellipse tool. So here in the side panel, we'll select our Ellipse tool. I'm going to just click on the canvas and then it will bring up the dialog box. I'm going to create the dimensions, half the document size. So our document was 400 by 400. We are going to go at 200 pixels wide by 200 pixels tall. And so we'll click OK. And then up here at the top, we're going to change the, make sure it's a shape is selected. We are going to turn off our fill. We're going to change the stroke width to 15 pixels, and then you click OK there. And then next we are going to align it to the top of our canvas here. So I'm going to click M on the keyboard for the Marquee Tool, and then I'm going to select all, Command A. I'm going to move to the Move tool with V on the keyboard, and then that will just bring up these align options here. So we're going to align it horizontally, and then we're going to align it to the top of the canvas there. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that layer, right click, duplicate, click OK, and then you can notice that it's still, the canvas is still selected there for that Command All before, and then this time we are going to align that one to the bottom, okay? And then in this case, we can deselect everything, Command D here, and then I'm gonna highlight both of those layers in my layer panel, just selecting both of them there. And then I'm gonna right click to duplicate layers, clicking OK there. And then the next, I'm just gonna rotate it, start rotating it, and then I'm just gonna change it to 90 degrees there. And then we'll select OK. So now we have the basic shape here, and so I'm going to highlight all of the layers here, and then under the properties here, you depending on where you have it, you can always go to Windows and select properties there. But in my properties here, I'm going to scroll down here to the Pathfinder section, and I'm going to make sure that this first one is selected to combine the shapes here. And then with those 4 layers selected, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to say Merge Shapes. And what that will do is it will just combine the shapes together, and it will basically get rid of the middle part and just leave the outline of our shape here. So right now we have our basic shape for our quatrefoil pattern. Let's go ahead and define that here. We're going to go to Edit, Define Pattern. You can give your pattern a name, and then we'll just click on OK here. And then let's go ahead and open a new document. So we're going to go to File, New. In this case, I'm going to give it the dimensions of digital scrapbook paper. So we're going to go 3600 pixels wide by 3600 pixels high. Our resolution, we're going to do 300 pixels per inch. Color mode is going to be RGB color, and then we'll switch our background contents to white, and then we'll select Create It. Next, we are going to create a pattern layer. So in our layers panel, from our adjustments, we are going to select pattern. In the drop-down menu, we are going to select our newly created pattern here. When this dialog box is open, you have the option to adjust the angle. You can scale up, scale down. You can even move it around here in your dialog box. And then if you want to get back to the original, you'll just click Snap to Origin, and then go ahead and click on OK. The next step is we are going to recolor our pattern here. So I'm going to add a solid color adjustment layer, and then I'm going to select a color. I'm going to choose one of my swatches here, this kind of fun mint color. Clicking OK, and then the next we're going to create a clipping mask. So you can right click and select create clipping mask, or you can use the keyboard shortcut hovering between the two layers here. You're going to, for Mac users, you'll click option and click on the keyboard here. And then you can do the same for a background layer. So add a solid color adjustment layer there. This time I'm actually going to change the color. So we're going to put the mint as our background layer, and then we'll change this one back to white there to get our quatrefoil pattern design. So let's go back into our pattern document, and this time we're going to make what's called a barbed quatrefoil. Basically, we're going to add a square to add a little bit of a point here. So we'll go back to our shapes tool here. We'll select our rectangle tool, and then just hitting the shift key, dragging it out to create our square. And then we'll change the fill to no fill, change our stroke to 15 pixels to match that of our previous shape. And then we'll go to the Marquee tool, hitting M on the keyboard. We'll go Command A to select all, V to access our Move tool here. And again, that just brings up these alignment panels. So we're going to align horizontal and we're going to align vertically just to get it centered on our canvas here. And then I'm going to go ahead and deselect, Command D. I'm going to just create a duplicate of this layer here, and then we'll just turn that one off. And then we will combine these two layers. Again, in our properties, we have our Pathfinder set to combine the shapes. We will right click and we will merge shapes. And that will give us our barbed look, where it adds that pointed shape in between it. So then we will define this pattern. So we'll go to Edit, Define Pattern. Go ahead and click on OK. We'll jump back into our document here. From here, we are going to group these layers. You can right click and select Group from Layers, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Command G for Mac users. And then we are going to, we'll just rename that our quatrefoil. And then let's duplicate that group. So we'll right click, duplicate group. And then this one's going to be our barbed quatrefoil. Clicking OK there. And then we will open up the group here, and then you can just click on that pattern layer, select it down, and then you can select your newly created layer here. And again, you can move it around to adjust your pattern here. And so I like the look of it in the corners. And so again, if I snap to origin, it will bring it back to that. And so if I want to actually have my pattern kind of start out that way, I'm going to go back in here. With this rectangle tool, we are going to go to Filter, Other, Offset, and then it's going to ask you to convert it to a smart object. And in this case, our dimensions were 400 pixels, so we're going to half that to 200 pixels to the right and 200 pixels down. And then in this case, we're going to wrap around for our undefined areas and click OK. And so I'm going to define the pattern this way. So we're going to Edit, Define Pattern. Click OK there. We'll go back into our document here. We will reselect our pattern. And then that way you can get it to change how it's oriented from the beginning. And so that filter offset option is a nice way to change just the way it looks for your pattern, so it will align a certain way. So you always have that option to adjust it that way. So now that we have it set that way, we'll click OK. So we have our pattern here. And again, you can change the color. Maybe we'll do a pretty kind of corally salmon color here. And then when you want to go ahead and save your paper, so in this case, I've made it the dimensions of digital scrapbook paper. So I'm going to go File, Save As. Go ahead and give it a name. So we have our barbed quatrefoil, and then just pink here. And then under Format, you're going to select JPEG, and then just this color profile, make sure it's continue to be selected here, and then we'll click Save. And then for your digital scrapbook paper that you are making to sell, you'd want to make sure that you save it in the largest file, just the highest quality here. So you can just drag this over to the maximum, and then just go ahead and click on OK. And then we can do the same for our quatrefoil pattern here, just turning off the layers there. And then we'll go ahead and do the same, repeat the process, save as. This time we'll do quatrefoil, green, changing our format to JPEG, save, okay, and then we have our two digital scrapbook papers using our quatrefoil and our barbed quatrefoil pattern. Thank you for watching this video on how to create the quatrefoil and barbed quatrefoil pattern in Photoshop. Be sure to check out my other tutorials on how to create patterns in Photoshop. If you like this video, leave me a thumbs up and leave a comment below. In the description, I will leave a link to my shop where I sell Photoshop pattern templates. You can also check out my Etsy shop where I sell digital scrapbooking paper packs. Thank you for watching this video. This is Trisha from Lemon Paper Lab. See you next time.